We're back.
We're back.
Happy 2025. Happy New Year, Chase.
Happy New Year to you too. Hope you had a great holiday, and I'm looking forward to a very exciting 2025.
Me too. I went home. I flew home to Indianapolis for the break. Took my kid. I grew up there. My wife grew up there, so all of our parents live there. So it was a lot of grandparent time with the kid, and she got to hang out with her cousins. I played a lot of D&D with the
Nice.
nieces. Yeah, I taught a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 70-year-old how to play D&D, and they made quite the crew. It was hysterical because it's like I wrote this giant adventure, all these plot hooks, all these ideas, all this stuff going on, and the two little girls were like, I want to go find animals in the woods and help them. And I was like, okay, roll the fine tracks the whole time. And it was so funny. At one point, the 9-year-old goes, man, everyone we talk to really wants us to go to this damn, like, no, she didn't say that, wants us to go to this, like, gnome's house. And I'm like, yeah, that's D&D, kid. You're going to go to the gnome, and the gnome's going to be like, hey, I need you to go to find a dragon. You're going to go to the dragon. Dragon's going to be like, I need you to go find. It's like, it's a bunch of quests. What did you think this was? And she's like, I just want to find animals in the woods and help them. It
I want to
was
go save the
silly.
raccoons.
Yes, I want to pet a deer. So it's like, you're like, well, all right, we'll just throw everything we did out the window and we'll talk about some animals. Um, Watched a lot of movies, which was fun, had to do another watching of Black Christmas because Olivia, how do we say her last
I
name?
think it's Hussey or
Hussey?
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 Husey. I think it is
R.I.P.
Husey.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original, to me, the original Juliet from her turn as Romeo, as Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, and obviously Black Christmas. I mean, just phenomenal actress. R.I.P. Too bad. Um, and what else did I watch? Oh, I watched Werewolves because that came out on streaming. Watched that with my brother.
Nice. What'd
Um,
you
what?
think?
Oh, so fun! It is up there with Dog Soldiers. If you guys haven't seen Dog Soldiers, you're in for a treat because Dog Soldiers is like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but instead of like a little girl with blonde hair, it's the Scottish Special Forces. Instead of three bears, it's werewolves.
Ooh.
Uh, Dog Soldiers is awesome. Werewolves is on par with that, with just like action werewolf adventure badassery all around. Really cool practical
Yeah.
effect. Like, guys, they turned all out for that. So I was really happy to get to check that out. And then I watched a weird one. Every Christmas, my brother and I try to find the weirdest Asian horror film to watch. Last year we watched The Seventh Curse. The year before that we watched The Boxer's Omen, and this year we watched Seeding of a Ghost. And seeding, yeah, they mean that. So there's some weird ghost stuff happening, and tentacles and monsters. Took a while to get going, but ended in just a bonkers place that was worth the price of admission. So seeding of a ghost, real weird.
Nice. Nice.
And then of course I watched the movie we're going to talk about today, which I'm really
Yes. So
excited.
yeah. So what we did, because my family does all their stuff Christmas Eve, like
Yep.
everything Christmas Eve. So pretty much Christmas Day. It's kind of quiet. Like me and my partner will go up to my parents and have dinner later on in the afternoon. But Christmas morning, we woke up, so went to one of our favorite AMC theaters in our city and got a face full of Nosferatu dong at 10 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Classic, classic Dracula dick. We love it. So funny. It's like people are like, "What's different? Like, what's different from this from the Xth number time?" I was like,
You
nudity.
see cock.
Yeah. Uh, I really enjoyed this Nosferatu. I am coming around to like it more. When I first watched it, I was like, it's pretty. It is so beautifully shot. The cinematography alone is, I think that is the biggest thing they're bringing to the table. And I watched all the Nosferatus these past few days. I watched the original. I watched the 1979 remake by Klaus Kinski. I watched Shadow of the Vampire, and I saw this. And it was it was really interesting because watching this one, I was like, wow, it's beautiful. the acting's pretty good, but man, it's just the story wasn't doing it for me. And I was like, huh. But I mean, it's based off of something real. So let me check those out. And I watched both of them. He's hamstrung his by the source material because I watched the Klaus Kinski one, and Werner Herzog, Klaus Kinski. That one's boring too. The original, really beautifully shot, really good, kind of boring. Maybe the Dracula story is just boring. But let's start back. Let's go way back, way back. We're going to 1922. 1922. This is World War One ends in 1918. So this is 1922. Bram Stoker's Dracula, the novel, is still very popular. And a little movie called Nosferatu comes out. And the filmmakers are like, tee hee, what if we just change their names? Nobody will notice we just ripped off Dracula. Well, Bram Stoker's widow was like, to fuck, you're going to put that out? No way. Pay me. And it's the first time that IP copyright law comes into the film world. And Nosferatu loses big. They owe Bram Stoker's estate a fuck ton of money. And then they own a lot of money, and basically Bram Stoker's family starts burning all the copies, burns every copy. Germany got to see it, but it basically gets destroyed. This is 1922. 1932, 10 years later, is when Bela Lugosi's Dracula comes out. Now, to put that into perspective, Nosferatu is a movie that has been remade. Dracula has been remade so many times. That's just an IP ripoff. Imagine this: 100 years from now, people are like, "I just want to remake Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey." That's an IP ripoff that you are now ripping off. That is the impact of how good Nosferatu is. That original movie, 1922, M.W. Warnow directing, and Max Schreck as the vampire. It is so good. It's one of the best German expressionist films of all time, next to Metropolis, Dr. Cabin of Dr. Caligari. That's how good this movie is. It has left a ripple. It has just planted a stake, for a vampire metaphor, in the hearts of cinema lovers. Its use of shadows, its use of creepiness, its story. It did such a good job that people like the ripoff as much as they like the actual story. And when you look at the impact of Nosferatu and then the impact of Bela Lugosi dressing up as Dracula, his face, the cape, everything, we haven't been able to escape it for over 100 years. When did you first experience the original? The original.
Probably as a teenager. I actually own it on DVD, which I'm getting ready to pull out here. It's something I found at Walmart for like $4, and it's like 50 set. You actually, I remember you told me you had the same one.
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 50 set or 50 movie disc set that has like a bunch of like movies that are in the public domain. Like it has Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
Carnival of Souls, and it has Nosferatu. I actually did watch the original when you asked me the other day, like, hey, you want to do Nosferatu? So I went. So I actually went on Tubi. There's like 5 different versions of it on Tubi to watch. And the reason why I didn't pull out the disc, because let me show you something, Aaron. I know you know this. This isn't like organized. It's like 8 movies, like
just jammed into an envelope. Yeah.
I just didn't feel like hunting through, so I was like, screw it, I'm going on Tubi. And I rewatched it, and I really, now with a more mature set of eyes, I really loved like a lot of the practical effects they did at the time, like a lot of like stop motion-esque a lot of stop motion-esque kind of effects, especially like the casket opening up, and
how the way they did shadows was really cool. I just loved how his shadow would like reach across the room. They did some really neat stuff with that. And the original was just atmosphere. I mean, it's got drip for days when it comes to the atmosphere. I love it. I think something I'm seeing in the comments right now, and this is so true. A lot of people's first introduction to Nosferatu, the original Max Schreck, is, hey, but who's flickering the lights? And then it's a SpongeBob gag. Nosferatu. Click, 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 click. Like, that is brilliant. And I love that SpongeBob did that. And Robert Eggers gave a shout out on Twitter or X this week about like, thanks to SpongeBob. And that's amazing that like somewhere like in the least of places, people are like, "Who's that?" Nosferatu, and they get it, and then they check it out, and they're like, "Wow, that is a cool movie." I mean, it still has so much to draw from. We watched the Werner Herzog one yesterday,
I did
or
too.
on New Year's Eve, and when you're watching that, you're like, "Shit, I just saw this movie." It's like it is so close to what Robert Eggers did, but Robert Eggers just had more like taste in the cinematography. I think the characters were stronger, but it's a shot for shot, plot for plot, beat for beat for the most part. What I will say about Werner Herzog's vision is that Klaus Kinski as Nosferatu is way more like sympathetic. Like he's very much like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, nobody loves me," and I'm like, "Oh, Nosferatu."
So the funny thing is, so I went and saw the Robert Eggers
Hmm.
recent one, Christmas Day. I
Awesome.
actually went again yesterday right after work and saw it.
Just
There's like a little locally owned theater right outside our neighborhood.
mm,
And I went to it just like, oh, there's a 6 o'clock show. Might as well just catch it. So that way it's still fresh in my mind for today. And so when I got home, I immediately turned on the 1979 version, and it was just kind of polar opposite, especially when Thomas gets to Nosferatu's mansion.
yep.
In the new one, Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok is, "You kept me waiting,
That
your
voice.
absence," and then like, and then
I
you
like your
get to
Nosferatu
the
voice.
then you get to the 1979 when he's like, "You must be hungry.
Yeah.
Come in." Like,
It is so funny because it's such a different take. Like one of my small complaints about the Robert Eggers one is the voice because he's so like and this is my issue with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise too. Immediately he's creepy. Immediately. Whereas in most of the Dracula stories, and I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but it's one of the things I noticed. Immediately he's like, "I am creepy. I want to suck your blood." And in most of the stories that Jonathan shows up and is like, "Hey, I got some business to do," and you're like, "Oh, this guy's kind of weird." And then the dude's like, "Can I suck your thumb?" And he's like, "Oh, you're really weird, dude." And then it's not dangerous until he falls asleep. It's like it's just a bizarre situation. He's like, "Man, I'm gonna have some stories to tell my wife when I get home. This guy's a creep. This guy is just eccentric beyond belief." I mean, even in the first Dracula film, even in Bram Stoker's Dracula, when you got go Keanu Reeves, you're like, "What's that blue light, man?" And Dracula's like, "It is the." When it doesn't matter who your Dracula is, he's just kind of weird at first, and he doesn't get creepy until you fall asleep and he starts sucking on your thumb. And immediately Skarsgård was like, "I'm creepy," and you're like, "Oh, all right,
which
fine."
is funny because Bill Skarsgård, which most of you have probably seen him without the prosthetics and the
Yes,
makeup, very, very attractive man. And then
yeah,
he just
got
like
the
it's just
handsome jawline.
oh yeah, and then it's just like when they put the makeup on him, it's just like he turns it on immediately, like Pennywise, the same
Pennywise
thing.
immediately, yeah. He goes Boston Bulldog and gets creepy as hell. I love it. Um, I really like the design of Nosferatu here. Is like here, if you're gonna go different, let's go cool. If you read the original Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is all done in diary installments, as if it's like a found footage thing, Dracula is described as having long white hair and a long, full mustache. So he looked like Vlad the Impaler, as the original inspiration for Dracula is Vlad the Impaler, and he's designed with a big mustache. So this had a really cool look. He had the coat of a lot of Romanian soldiers. He had the mustache. He had the hat, the big puffy hat. I really thought that it was I really thought that was such a neat design for him. I missed the teeth. I wish we saw more vampire teeth, but he was creepy as hell, all rotten in the back. Apparently he really got in that coffin with all those rats. I thought for sure we'd be all CGI rats, but apparently that was a coffin full of like 500 rats. And
Ugh.
Nicholas Holt was like, every time they Bill laid down the coffin, they filled it full of rats, they covered the lid, and then ran the take. And it takes me minutes to get there. So he's in that coffin in the dark with rats crawling all over him for a good chunk of time. And like, I've been on set, I work on sets. Sometimes you go rolling action, and then it takes just an obscene amount of time before you actually get them because they're like, wait, one more thing. Oh, we got to set this light. Hold on. Are we set? Okay, hold on. Oh, we got to switch a lens real quick. And like, it takes forever to get it going. And here's poor Bill Skarsgård just lying, coughing, naked, pretty naked. I don't know.
That man he is a trooper because I mean, going through all that prosthetic work. I mean, for 2 movies came out a few years ago. Did for this one, and plus he was a trooper doing The Crow 2024.
I haven't seen the new Crow movie. I love The Crow.
Bad.
It's bad. Oh, I don't want it to be bad. I kind of want to watch it just to see how the violence is because look, I love the art of gore. You know, how movies do it, and especially like I just want to see how they're gonna get all bloody with it. See what they do.
There's a scene where he's just massacring people in an opera. It's awesome. That's like the only good scene in that movie. Everything else is like The Crow, but for Twilight. I saw this one in theaters, and I remember there was like several lines throughout the movie that like Twigs would say or someone else would say, and like everyone just started laughing. Like the 6 other people in the theater started laughing because it was so bad.
We should definitely get. I wish Tubi would sponsor anything. You know, come on.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. Spirit Quest's production saying the sound mix was so good. The sound was incredible. The visuals were incredible. The music in this was really good. I'm gonna get into the crux of something that bugged me about it. Is, you know, he really was faithful to the original. Okay, great, that's fine. The acting, he upped the notch. The visuals, he upped the notch. I really thought that was cool. He didn't do anything really new, but he teased me with the idea of something new, and it's a little bit of a difficult thing. So there's a trigger warning here. I am going to be talking about assault and sort of what they're implying about Dracula here, Nosferatu. Dracula's like a pedophile in this. Like, let's not mince it. He showed up to Lucy when she was a child, and you know,
seduced her.
Seduced her. And she didn't know. She doesn't understand. She didn't know what was going on. She says, like, look, that was wrong. Now I'm coming around and realizing, like, what was I didn't know what was happening to me. I was like, dang, she got groomed by and assaulted by Dracula.
Yeah, and she thinks when they show the scene of her as like, I guess it would be like a young teenager.
At the very beginning,
At the very beginning, she calls him her guardian angel.
Which is also like a Phantom of the Opera kind of nod there. She thinks she prayed for something and something dark showed up. And I think that's a neat idea. Now you have the opportunity to look at vampirism, this Dracula story, through the eyes of people who have survived assault and their spouses, because how Nicholas Hoult reacts to that is he's like, I'm still going to support you, but I'm going to go kill that dude. I'm going to go find him and drive a stake through his heart, as all of us fantasize about. You hurt my family, you hurt my loved ones, I'm going to go wreck that dude. We all think about that. But the movie then, instead of resolving that in a way that makes sense to that lens, is like, well, yeah, she's got to bone Dracula again, which that's not how humans process that. That's not how that arc ends. So it's like he introduced this idea of an arc, but then doesn't that take that anywhere, because that's not what the source material did. So I guess it's fine. But I was like, that to me is the most interesting aspect of what he introduced here. And I wish that they had landed that plane in a way that gave Lucy the agency to overcome what had happened to her in the past in a way that was more true, that gave her a bigger arc, instead of just like, well, I guess I just got to sacrifice myself to Nosferatu. And that makes it a different movie. That might not have like been what the audience is going for. That's not what Eggers apparently wanted to do. But for me, when I was like, oh, they're doing something different, and then they're like, no, we're not. Don't worry about it. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Because again, if you watch all 3 iterations of the film, the 1922 one, the 1979 one, and this recent one, like you said it best, it's basically the same movie, just with
Yeah.
different stylistic and maybe some little added. I would say that the 1979 one was kind of more of a hybrid of a remake and
Hmm.
an adaptation of
Hmm.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. Because again, it is called Nosferatu, it has the Nosferatu design, um, but it is like all the characters' names are the same characters from Bram
From
Stoker's
Dracula. Yeah.
Dracula. Right.
It's also interesting because I think one of the things that I actually, the scenes that I really liked about it is when he dealt more with the plague aspect of it. There was a lot
Yeah.
of really cool shots of rats, lots of rats. And there's a scene, and I call it the dance macabre, where Lucy's wandering through a square, and there's coffins everywhere. There's thousands of rats. There's like pigs and goats, and everybody's just drinking and dancing. And they're like, "We all have the plague. We're gonna die, so let's live it up one last time." And that is a cool scene, and that's something that the Robert Eggers, like, they dealt with the plague, but they didn't really show a huge swath of that. And that's kind of where the Klaus Kinski, Werner Herzog takes their own agency with the story, and Robert Eggers went in a different direction with the characters. I
Now, did you
love,
get
yeah,
now did you get the popcorn tin that they
no,
released?
no,
Okay. You know what, guys? I'm gonna show it to you. It actually
go get it,
has in the inside of it rats printed on the inside of it. Give me one
go get
second,
it.
guys.
All right, I'll vamp for a minute. So yeah, I thought, I mean, if you haven't seen the Werner Herzog movie, you should. It's worth it. It's cool. It is exactly what you just saw of the Robert Eggers one, but just like that 70s vibe is worth checking out. All right, let's see this thing. Man, popcorn tins. Now, is that flat printed or is there any texture to the top of it?
There is some texture and design to
Ooh.
it. And then you open up the inside.
Look at all those rats. That is so cool.
That was the thing.
Is it,
So we
tap
went
it,
to a
tap
10
it. What
a.m.
sound does that make?
Oh,
Ooh. Is it actual tin?
it
Like
is.
metal? Oh, yeah. Dude. I the construction of popcorn boxes right now are out of control. I love it.
See, I tried, like, we don't really have a lot of space to be putting because I bought so many of them. So I've kind of stopped. But when they announced this one, like, we went to the AMC at a 10 a.m. show. Like, so I got there at like 9:50, waited in line, and I was like, I want the Nosferatu 10. They were like, do you want the popcorn? And I was like, nope, just give
No.
me the 10.
Isn't that funny that that's a question now? It's like, do you want to sully it with popcorn? When I saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, I got the trap. I got it
Oh,
signed by
nice.
podcast from that movie. I worked
Oh,
with him.
nice.
Yeah, it was so cool because I was like so stoked. I was like, can you sign it? And he's like, you want me to sign it? I was like, well, I mean, you're not Dan Aykroyd, but you're the only Ghostbuster I'm gonna meet. So yes, I'm thrilled. I'm so stoked to meet somebody who's in a Ghostbuster movie and gets to put on the Ghostbuster thing and be in the Ecto One. Like, you are the closest thing. You are a Ghostbuster, so I'm excited. Like, I was so pumped, and like, I just don't think he's
Podcast
used
is
to
a
people.
Ghostbuster.
Yeah, I just
Podcast
don't
is
think
a Ghostbuster.
he was used to people being so stoked to be like Ghostbusters, and he's like, well, he's a great dude, really awesome. Here's a funny story. So he's in Dead City, which is the show I work on. Nice guy. We played D&D together while we were out there. He was wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. I said, oh yeah, you like Iron Maiden? Tell me 3 songs. And he looks over and there's a guitar on set, and he picks it up, dun, 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 goes right into the trooper, just rocking it on an acoustic guitar. And I was like, okay, you don't need to tell me 2 more. Just rocking it, going right into it. I was like, all right, you get to wear that shirt.
That guy, like, he posts on social media, and like every time, like, he posts a picture of himself on social media, he's wearing like a heavy metal shirt, whether it be like
Yeah,
Slayer or Iron Maiden.
yeah,
He
he's
knows
into
his
metal.
shit. He knows
Yeah,
his
which is
shit.
awesome. Good dude, great cast member. So yeah, really fun. I love the Ghostbuster movies. I got a trap for Christmas. The Hasbro Black Label traps came in, and so did the PKE meter, which was really awesome. Here, let me grab this real quick. Got my PKE meter right here. This thing is
Oh,
it is amazing. It's really awesome. And here's
nice.
the craziest thing about it. So it actually can source electromagnetic pulses. So you can use this as an actual ghost hunting device. There's a mode for it. I think I burned the batteries out. Look at me being an idiot. Um, you can actually use this to hunt for ghosts when you have batteries
Nice.
when you
That's
don't leave it on
awesome.
all Christmas break.
Do you know what? I got to, like, if she doesn't know about it already, one of the previous guests of the show, back before I became a co host,
Hmm.
there was a girl you had named Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey.
Yeah, who does paranormal like investigation and ghost hunting.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be something she might be interested in.
She needs this. Yeah. Well, it was just the coolest thing because I was like, what does mode 2 do? And it's like actual EMP detection. Because the first mode it does is like the just animates, just goes wee, 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 it does cool stuff, but then it will actually scan for electromagnetic pulses, and you're like, run it around
Nice.
your house, see if there's any ghosts. But here's the mean thing though. You're like, of all the Ghostbuster tools that I have, here, I'm gonna pick up my web camera. Of all the Ghostbuster tools that I have the proton pack, all of it. Um, this is the only one that works. What if I find a ghost? All my other stuff is like fake shit. This is the only thing that works. It will tell me if there's a ghost, but I can't catch them. I can't
Come
bust them.
on. Come on, trap popcorn bucket work.
I know, right? I'm stomping on the trap popcorn bucket. Doesn't do shit. It is it is just like that is the funniest thing to me is like great, now I can find actual ghosts in my house, and then I'm just like uh who am I gonna call? I'm the Ghostbuster here. I just look like an idiot because I got the full costume on and I'm like there's a ghost here and I can't do anything. Anyway, let's get back to Nosferatu. um I love the use of light in this movie, the use of shadows.
Yes.
He really looked at how the original was done and just crushed it. When he goes inside the like hotel, the gypsy hotel, and it's all dark, and the only light that comes from the fireplace and that glow and that low, heavy
Orange
smoke,
glow.
so cool, so beautiful. Really, really well done. I just
See,
hats off.
one of my favorite things was that during the night scenes, it almost had like this purple bluish hue
Beautiful.
to yeah, oh yeah. And it kind of reminded me of one of my all-time favorite movies, Mad Max Fury Road. When they do the night scenes, it's
Yes.
all that kind of purple or bluish hue,
Yep.
which I absolutely love. I know Jordan Peele did it for Nope too.
Do you want to know how they did that? It's
They
wild.
filmed during the day, don't they? And then they just do like
Yep.
a filter over
Ah.
it. Or oh,
Ah. Here we go. All right. So they take a 3D camera rig, which is two cameras, and they put a beam splitter in the middle, which is a prism or a mirror that shoots the images into two different cameras. And one of them is filming it during the day, and the other one has it cranked to like basically a different way to capture the film, so it's like almost super dark, and then they mix it together to look perfect. I don't know how they did it for Nosferatu yet. I wanted to find out if they did it that way, but they film it during the day, and then basically using like a completely different ISO, just cranked down to almost blackness, just capturing the inverse of the lights. They're able to then mix the two images together. It's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, in Nope, it looks awesome.
oh
In
yeah, Nope.
Fury
Furiosa and
Road,
Mad
yeah,
Max Fury Road. It looks amazing.
it looks amazing and it's stylized to work. It's really hard to shoot at night. It really, really, really is hard to make it look real, make it look good. I'm always joking that's like, how many full moon nights do we have a month in this show? It's like every night has to be a full moon, otherwise it's dark and you wouldn't see anything. And like everybody's like, why doesn't it look real at night? Well, because you don't see anything at night. We had the situation where we're looking at a city in the distance from a hilltop at night, and the studio executives were like, well, it doesn't look real. I was like, it doesn't look real because you can see it. If it was real, you wouldn't see anything. unless there's a
Mm-mm.
full moon back here. Then it looks even more fake. If you put a full moon in a shot, it looks super fake because it then looks like you're like painting a picture. So it's always going to look stylized because the reality of what you would see at night is nothing. It'd just be
Right,
black
right,
out there. If the moon was bright and behind the buildings, you might get a hint of that silhouette. But if you wanted any depth, you need more light than what's existent. Because in a world, especially a post-apocalyptic world, there's no lights. There'd be nothing to
right.
see. That's
You don't
that's the
have
power of darkness.
you don't have traffic lights or
No.
anything.
That's the funny thing. Like when I was watching the Werner Herzog one, I kept seeing in the far distance like modern buildings, which he's shooting in a really old fashioned town, like an amazing location, and in the far distance, like you see like telephone tower or something. You're like, they didn't want to paint it out, but I mean, Robert Eggers just crushed it. I am after watching the other source material, I'm like, I guess I just don't love the storyline of Nosferatu. I think it's a little slow, but like what he did with it was really impressive. The locations were great. He got some really good performances. The music, the sound design, it just knocked it out of the park. And I'm glad it did well theatrically because
Yeah.
I want more big artsy gothic horror films. We need more of that.
Let's go back and talk about the performances
Yep.
because,
Yep.
oh my God. Here's the thing. We all knew Bill Skarsgård was an amazing actor.
Yeah.
He was great as Pennywise in the two It movies. He was great in Barbarian as Keith.
Mm,
Um, Boy Kills World, which, by
awesome.
the way, oh, it's very underrated.
Awesome.
It's very underrated. It's like if you mix Hunger Games and Deadpool together. Thing
Awesome.
is, he has no lines. He plays a deaf mute character.
And
So all his acting is with the action scenes and just his facial expressions.
here's my favorite thing about it. So he's deaf and mute, and he's like, so I needed an internal monologue. And he picks it from a video game, basically Mortal Kombat. The voice in his head is Bob from Bob's Burgers. It is amazing. My other favorite thing is because he's deaf, he reads lips. And so he can understand the characters, but there's one character whose lips he can't read. So the stuff
Dodo
that he's
buns.
yeah, Duty Buns. And you're just like, what? And he's like, oh no, I can't read his lips. So every time this one character talks, it's just gibberish jargon. He's like, huh? And he's like, let's go. And
Yeah, the best one is where the
oh,
guy goes, Dodo buns. And he's like, in his internal voice, like, oh, Dodo buns is fun. And then the other guy starts crying. He's like, oh, Dodo buns are not
not
fun.
fun. Not fun. And then like when he's trying to tell him the plan, he's like, here's what I'm imagining. And they show like what he thinks he's saying, and it's all over the place. It's really silly. Oh, that movie. I love that movie so much. And I think people just slept on it. There's a whole batch of movies in there that I think are so fun and just an exciting good time. Bullet Train is one of them, with which has Aaron not
Taylor Johnson.
I keep wanting to say Anna Taylor-Joy, Aaron Taylor Johnson. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
Aaron Taylor
yeah.
Johnson is in that movie as well. Fantastic. Which makes me after watching Bullet Train, I'm like, yeah, he can be James Bond. He's allowed. That movie was super fun. Boy Kills World, super fun. Speaking of Anna Taylor-Joy, she was supposed to be the Lily Rose Depp
Yeah.
role in this movie. And yeah, go
Harry
ahead.
pops. So, as we know, every few years, Hollywood tends to do this thing where they like to get some big name pop star and try to turn them in the act, try to turn them into big name action or
Yep.
not action, but big name actors.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's successful, like Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born. Great actress. I know just recently, I haven't seen the movie, but Ariana Grande and Wicked. I
Dude,
heard she was great in that.
I loved Wicked.
Ain't nothing wrong with. I've heard nothing but amazing things
We
about it.
watched it. We watched it with all our nieces and my daughter, a 4-year-old, and my whole family. I had no ties to the musical. Like I had seen it. Um, I didn't really care. It's fine. It's great. It's a great musical. It's classic, but I'm just like, whatever. We're gonna sit down and watch this movie. I have zero expectations. So you have the most room in the world to impress me. Set design, incredible. Costumes, incredible. Characters, so fun. wild CGI. Oh my god, you guys are killing this. You're knocking it out of the park. Because my expectations were here, I came out of that movie being like, defying gravity. I was so stoked on Wicked. It was so funny. I was like, can we go see that show? It's phenomenal, and I feel so cheesy saying that, but whatever. You know what? Fuck it. If it's good, it's good. Yeah, I liked Wicked a lot, but yeah, Ariana Grande, but she plays the right part. That
Right,
part
right,
is, oh my god, I'm so ditzy, I'm blonde, I'm popular. Like, she plays that part perfectly because she knows what that part is and she
right.
plays to it. If you had Harry Styles in this movie, look, I don't
Mm.
know. I gave so much shit to Heath Ledger when the Joker came out. I was on that troll train. Heath Ledger blew me away. And that is the one time I will always say I'm not going to Heath Ledger it. I don't know if Harry
But
Styles can act.
the thing
I have
I
no
haven't
opinion on that man.
see. I've talked to many people who have seen his movies because I know there
Yep.
was like a span between like 2017. Because again,
What movies is he in?
he's in some Amazon movie called My Policeman, and then he's in Don't Worry, Darling. Oh, and he's in Dunkirk, that Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh, but like not really in Dunkirk. Like he's like in Dunkirk for like
Like an ensemble cast.
yeah, yeah. He's in it for 2 seconds. He's not the star of Dunkirk.
But from what I've heard, and like it was like a period between like 2017 to like I would say up until a couple years ago, it was like they were trying to do the Justin Timberlake thing where they were like, "Oh, let's make him a big name movie star too. People love his music." Which don't get me wrong, I like Harry Styles' music, but it was like, oh, it was kind of like an experiment they were doing where they're like, "Oh, let's put Harry Styles and stuff and see make
Mhm.
him a big name." And now around the time they announced his casting,
He was in
it was around that.
Eternals. I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either. I'm kind of
Mm.
burnt out on MCU, but that's a different
Yeah,
discussion for
yeah,
another
yeah,
day.
yeah. It's tough because his IMDb is like his music videos also count as acting. I'm like, well, obviously Harry Styles' music videos are he's going to be in. So yeah, Dunkirk.
Watermelon sugar.
Yeah, he's in so many. Yeah, it's a slog to sift through because I can't tell you what's a movie and what's a music video without like actually actually reading these things. Um, Look, I'm never going to like I said, I'm not going to Heath Ledger this, but at the end of the day, I'm really glad Nicholas Holt was it because I like Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Holt's an actor.
Yeah,
He's a great actor.
yeah,
Um, I've never been disappointed by performances. Even like going back to the Dracula thing 2 years ago, he was in Renfield. He was Renfield with Nicolas
right.
Cage.
With Nicolas
I,
Cage,
I thought he was great.
I liked part of that movie. I really like Nicolas Cage as a Dracula. That was cool. I like Ren. The problem is that movie is trying to cram a better idea into IP that doesn't want it, and it, like I don't know, being a Dracula's assistant doesn't give you superpowers. And they were trying to posit that, which again, great idea. Just don't try to make it Dracula and Renfield. Just make it a different Dracula movie. Nick Cage Dracula movie. It would have been fine, but the fact that you're trying to cram it into existing IP that already has some pretty, I mean, we've seen it to death, already very strict rules. Um, but okay, fine. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but it had some fun ideas, but was kind of all over the place with like how to get it done.
Like with me, I just looked at it. It was dumb fun. There was a lot of stuff that didn't make sense, but
Yeah,
you got
being too harsh.
Nicolas Caging everything in the
Cajun all over the
movie.
place. Oh my god,
And Nicholas Holt hamming it up. It and Aquafina hamming it up. It was a lot of
she's
fun,
great.
you know. Oh,
I
she's hilarious.
I really did like. Did you ever see Future Man?
With Josh Hutcherson on Hulu?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
haven't.
Aquafina plays one of his coworkers. Um, Great show. Really, really funny. Really funny. Lots of good time travel. Haley Joel Osment as a villain. Great.
Oh, nice.
So fun. Really funny. Very clever. Season 2 was just okay, more of the same, but still pretty funny. But like, I loved the first season, and I thought Josh Hutcherson was hysterical. Aquafina was hysterical, and like the time travel bullshit in it was just so hilarious to me. So hilarious, just great, worth watching. Everybody should check that out.
I'm gonna check that out now because I've
Uh,
heard nothing but good things.
really funny, and Josh Hutcherson, like it seems like he's just getting to have a break and have fun instead of being like I'm Peeta from Hunger Games. It's like no,
Yeah,
just have
yeah.
have some fun, man. You earned it. Um, let's talk about the iterations of Dracula a little bit. So we have a very interesting take coming in here of the more Vlad the Impaler look. We've seen the pale, rat tooth, long fingered Nosferatu. When Bela Lugosi comes along, you get that version of Dracula, which becomes
Slick back hair
the
and
Dapper Dan Dracula, which then sticks through Hammer. Dapper Dan Dracula sticks through even up into the Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola,
where you get
Gary
kind of
Oldman.
two iterations of it, where you get the kind
Yeah,
of creepy with the big white hair and the
the butt hair. Yeah,
yeah. I just
um,
always thought it looked like nuts, but
it really did. It's obscene, whatever it is. It's not. That's not the hairstyle for him. And then he gets all like slick.
like
They give him
long hair and
the mustache. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the original depiction says he's got a mustache and long hair. But yeah, Gary Oldman, they made him sexy. I throughout history, it's interesting because Nosferatu, especially in the Werner Herzog one, he's portrayed as vermin and pestilence and plague. In the Bram Stoker's version, almost throughout, he's portrayed as like xenophobic sex fear. They're afraid of the foreign men coming and seducing their women. Um, the it's interesting the different versions that you see of that. And I think that the fact that those two sort of flavors have stuck around for over 100 years is so fascinating. It's not until we get to Twilight when we get an even more
sparkly.
sparkly, slicked up version of vampires, which again, look, they're trying something new. I love in Blade how they kind of have a few different versions of the vampires. You have the old world ones have the crazy rat ears and the Nosferatu fangs. I do like that they're trying it.
Another one I want to bring up is Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn,
Yes.
where they kind of have like almost like a rattlesnake quality to them, where they just have like the protruding
Yeah.
like sockets and
Were you ever into Buffy?
no,
No. Oh
no.
man. I got oh yeah. Anne Rice. Yeah, the Anne Rice, I love the original Interview with a Vampire. Um I am not the audience for the TV show. I think they're doing a great job, but I'm not the audience, it's which is fine. Every iteration of something is not going to be for you or for me. It's they have their audience and they're doing a great job. It is the slick hypersexual homoeroticism of the vampire, which is awesome. Um, but I just I start cracking up because the vampires take themselves so seriously in the Anne Rice stuff. The original with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise is just like it's awesome, but it's hysterical to me. It cracks me up because they're so serious. And it's just like, get it over and kiss already. Come on. The tension. And I mean, when you talk about like Kirsten Dunst in that movie, when she is just like a little baby girl, she turns into a little vampire. I love it. Um, yeah, so definitely the Anne Rice stuff is another iteration.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, punk rock vampires.
Yep.
Yes, that is a great. Like, let's get more of that. Oh, Near Dark vampires.
Yep.
Which is like the cowboy vampires.
The southern gothic
Mhm.
vampires.
I love that. Oh yeah. You get when you get anytime you get down to Savannah, you get some good vampire stories.
Another one, because again, we really hadn't seen that kind of like rat-like for a while after
Mhm.
Nosferatu until one actually Alinka mentioned it to me yesterday on Blue Sky. Last Voyage of the Demeter that came
Last
out in 2023.
So, Last Voyage of the Demeter is fascinating because it's one of those stories that people have been dying to see told again and again. It is in Nosferatu. It's the ship that takes
Yeah.
Dracula. It takes 4 days to get from Romania to England, and it's the ship that takes them from there. On board, they're carrying the unknown cargo. in BBC did a 3-part miniseries called Dracula, which is really good, really worth checking out, really fun. A great thing. One of the entire episodes is on the ship. It's done really well. That entire movie, Last Voyage of the Demeter, is Dracula on a boat. Really cool.
Very ambitious
A lot of people
to
did not
take.
like it. I thought it was fine. Again,
I
it did
Yeah.
what it wanted to do.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite iteration of Dracula, but I mean, it was fine. I respect what they were trying to do. Take a singular chapter of from the book and try to expand it to an almost
Yep.
2-hour long movie. So I respect the hell out of the
Mm-hmm.
ambition they tried to do there.
Yeah, you
I
guys.
think a lot of things about it worked.
I really liked it. I want to come back to Buffy real quick. When I was working at a post house, my job was to transfer drives, and I would sit around for hours while you went copy, paste, and then make sure that the drive transfer didn't fail. And in those hours, I would watch Buffy, and I watched the entire series.
Oh.
And super fun monster of the week, vampires. Has its own world, has its own lore. Really fun. I don't know if it still holds up. It's probably a little cheesy for today's factor, but sometimes cheesy is super fun too. So
it has a huge fan base still to this day. Like, you go on Twitter, there's a lot of people who absolutely adore it.
Well deserved. Really fun. I didn't think I would like it. I thought it was going to be too cheesy for me or too like rah rah. But like Buffy Summers is a badass. Later, it gets a little soap opera in the later seasons, but you're already hooked, so it doesn't matter. You're there for the ride. So, is she going to be with Spike or Angel? Ooh, I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah, you get hooked on it. So I just like the monsters, man. I want to be stuck on a boat with David Dashiell. They have a cruise coming out for that. You can. No, I'm just kidding. You all sleep in coffins, and he talks to you. He's great. I would love to
He's
put
amazing.
him in a vampire movie. He would be a great vampire.
Oh yeah.
I think he would have done a better version of the Dark Shadows vampire than Johnny Depp did. But that's neither here nor there.
Which talking about Johnny Depp,
yeah,
his daughter. Oh my God,
she brought it.
She was, which I'm so happy for her, because again, most people, I think for most mainstream audiences, their first introduction to her was last year with that show, The Idol on HBO.
Yeah, which
it's bad.
It's real bad.
It's legitimately one of the worst pieces of television I've ever seen.
It's so trying to be shocking. They're like, "Oh, you guys like shocking drugs and sex? You like that Elysium show? What was that show that with all the kids?
Euphoria?
Euphoria. Yeah, you guys like that Euphoria shit? We're going to turn it up a notch." And you're like, "No, I didn't ask for that. Nobody? Anybody? You asked? No? No? Oh, you missed the point of why people like that show." And they're like, "Oh, whoops, canceled."
well, the point of why people like the first season, the second season was mid. But the thing is, that was her introduction to most people. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad she really got this chance to redeem herself, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, for as bad as The Idol was, she still was good at the acting part.
Yeah, she gave it her heart,
yeah, Yeah, but this is like really, I think, what's going to redefine her. Like, people are like, holy shit, she's actually a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for her.
I think that's what Eggers brings out of people, though, is he makes an actor feel safe enough that they can rip their clothes off, scream into the ether, cry on command. That's hard to do when you're on set surrounded by grumpy people that you don't know that well, and to let yourself go 100%. Like, that takes a really good director that you trust to make sure that you're going to look good doing something that if I just did it on a on a YouTube web stream, people would be like, that guy's silly. Like, you could look so silly, because here's the other thing people don't realize. Every time an actor does that, it's completely out of context. They're not shooting things in order. They're not shooting. They might not even have shot that conversation the same day. Everything is a non sequitur. Everything is out of order, and everything is just completely out of context. So her falling to the floor, ripping her clothes up, screaming, it's just
might have been like day one or something.
Yeah, you have to just pull that out of the air. You just have to find it in yourself to go to that place on command at that moment when they yell action, and it's going to take a while. So I give her big credit for going there. I hope she doesn't pigeonhole herself I think she now has the opportunity to do something really like whatever her next project is. That's when people are going to see like, can you keep that up? So I
Yeah.
wish her luck. I was very impressed with the acting across the board. I love Willem Dafoe and everything he does.
He's in
Um,
everything now.
he's in everything now because he's so fucking good, and
It's so good.
he's like I'm basically going to retire, so wow, I'll do whatever. He's been in Frankenstein, he's been in Dracula, he has played Nosferatu.
Yeah, Shadow of a Vampire, which I haven't seen,
I
but
love
I know
this
he
movie.
was nominated for an Oscar for it.
I love this movie. My brother does not like this movie as much. We argue about it some from time to time, but this movie is such a cool premise. It is It is like a behind the scenes making of the original Nosferatu. Marnow, the director, played by John Malkovich, is like, we're making a vampire movie. Don't bother the actor, Matt Schreck. Don't bother him. And then he ends up killing somebody on set and drinking their blood. And everybody's like, where'd you find this guy? And he's like, don't worry about it. Let's just sweep this under the rug. And the movie posits that Max Schreck is an actual real life, actual vampire, mythical creature. Such a cool premise. And then, like, because the vampire starts getting so much power from drinking the blood of the crew and the cast and killing people left and right, and John Malkovich is just getting so frustrated. He's like, I just want to finish my movie. And he's like, he decides to trick him into filming through the night and then ripping open the curtains and getting him with the sunlight at the end, and it works. But it's like, what a great idea. And Willem Dafoe as a speaking Nosferatu is amazing. He's so good. It's a very weird blend of movie because it's not a horror movie, but it's dripping in that atmosphere of the original Nosferatu. So it's just a very weird thing because you're watching, you're like, this does not line up with any of the things I'm expecting this to be. But that to me is like being John Malkovich or adaptation. It very much is in that vein of like incongruous connections, and I love that. And oh man, Willem Dafoe, come on!
I'm gonna watch this week. I've been meaning to watch it for the longest. I was actually
Now that you've seen
gonna
them all, yeah,
I was gonna watch it last night, but it was like by the time I got finished with the 1979 version, it was like 1:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm tired.
it's a lot. It's a lot. Well, we've reached that time, guys. Welcome to
Yes, we have.
2025. We're gonna have some fun this year. We're gonna have more guests this year, more events. I think we're gonna host some movies in the Prophets Theater, more streaming on YouTube, more streaming on X. Thanks to everybody who tuned in today. Really, really love hearing from you guys. I see your
Oh
comments
yeah.
down the side. Always a pleasure. Um, Next week, after Half Hour of Horror, we're going to be screening Wicked Horror Show's interview with Scott Chambers and I'm going to mispronounce this name.
Reese Frake Waterfield.
Reese Frake Waterfield from Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. Big shout out to KS Manis and the guys over at the Wicked Horror Show and this awesome interview. So we're going to be screening that after our show next week in the Prophets Theater. So stick around, check that out.
And while you're at it too, go see Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare in theaters. It's going to be in theaters for 3 days only. Let me get those days for you.
Yep.
Peter. But yeah, it's only going to be in theaters for 3 nights.
Support independent horror. Like we said, Werewolves is out on streaming right now. If you didn't go see it in theaters, check it out on streaming. Give independent horror your support. That is a completely independent horror film. Peter Pan's Nightmare, completely independent horror film. The money was raised by the people who made it. There's no studio backing. That's so hard to do. So support independent horror. When is Peter Pan's Nightmare coming
out? January 13th, 14th, and 15th in theaters.
Go see it.
See it.
Support independent horror, and like I said, here's another IP ripoff that might become famous, just like Nosferatu did. Imagine that 100 years later, a movie that was a ripoff of a book, illegally made, still has impact. That is one of the to me, that's one of the craziest feats you could pull off. Is something that was supposed to be destroyed and thrown away is actually just a signpost, a tent pole in horror. Amazing
stuff. The fact too that it was almost lost footage too.
Yeah, almost completely destroyed.
Yeah, and it's made it. 102 years later, or actually now 103, I'm still stuck in 2024. It still has this impact, and it's been remade into this new horror film that it's just absolutely amazing.
Yep. And one more plug to throw out there for watching. Check out Hammer Horror's Dracula series. There's 7 Dracula films, all with Peter Cushing as Van Helsing and Christopher Lee as Dracula, and they are phenomenal. All of them are super weird. Satanic Rites of Dracula is awesome. It's like a spy thriller in the 70s. Um, Taste the Blood of Dracula, super fun. Taste the Blood of Dracula is great. I'll plug this one a little bit more. So these rich dudes who everybody thinks are upstanding citizens and businessmen and family men, at night they go out to the brothels and they're being pieces of shit. And then this dude shows up and he's like, "You think this is fun? You guys want to do something really cool?" And they're like, "Yeah, what you got, man?" He's like, "Come on, let's go dig up Dracula's body. I have some powdered Dracula blood. You guys want to do this shit?" And they're like, "Yeah, bro, line it up, cut it fat." And so he mixes the powdered blood with real blood. He's like, "Drink up, dudes." And they're like, "You first, man. This is your party." So the dude chugs the blood of Dracula, falls to the ground. Dracula appears out of him and then is like, "Thanks for waking me up, but because you guys didn't partake in my drink, you guys are fucked." And he goes and seduces their children into killing the adults. Freaking rad.
I have one of them on DVD, The
Yeah.
Horror of Dracula.
Horror Dracula. Horror
Yeah.
Dracula is the original. It's basically the same story we've seen over and over again, but it's real good. After the Horror of Dracula, when you start getting into sequel territory, that's when they start getting pretty interesting because it's like, one, he gets impaled by a giant cross and then lightning strikes it and he like melts.
Oh, that's
One, he
awesome.
gets rolled over by a wagon wheel that's broken, impaled, and dies. In the seven Shaw Brothers, Seven Golden Vampires, he possesses like a Chinese kung fu master and awakes a bunch of Chinese vampires. Movie's not good, but I mean, whatever. We got to give away some blood coin this year. Of course, Nosferatu, easy. Yeah, that's spelled right. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that spelled right.
Plug it up, Chase. What do you got? Tell people where to follow you.
Yeah, you can catch me here every Saturday with you on Half Hour of Horror.
Yeah, man.
On YouTube, X, both of them at Block of Horror, and of course, the blockofhorror.com, the Block of Horror virtual world inside the Prophets Theater. Thank you for everyone who joined us. You can also follow me at Oh Hey It's Chase on all the socials. I'm mostly active on Blue Sky and Letterboxd.
Oh, hey.
So yeah.
And of course, follow me, Facebook, Instagram, X, on my other show, Launchpad Podcast. We haven't come back this year. We got to figure out when we're going to start recording, but we will be back in force. We got some amazing stuff coming up this year. And then, McLean and Abel on Instagram and probably on X too. But really, places you should be following is on Block of Horror. All socials at Block of Horror, the virtual world Block of Horror, and on the Discord. Get in there, chat up with some of your new friends, talk about some horror movies. Block of Horror is where it's at. So here's 2025, guys. We got some big stuff coming, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to be building out that virtual world, doing more events in there, and more events here. So keep it tuned. See you guys next Saturday.